In the Mail on Sunday, JK Rowling isn't transphobic, says Eddie Izzard.
Oh my God, what an absolute dog's breakfast trans has become. I don't really know where to start here, Kev. First of all, I'll say this. Hell will freeze over before I, as a trans person, actually call Eddie Izzard she or her, because he's a he. What does it say on Eddie's passport?
Yeah.
On his gas bill, on his driving license? He's a he. He hasn't transitioned. And this is the whole problem with the word trans in speech marks at the moment. You have transvestites grouped alongside transitioners, I call them, people who actually physically transition and permanently move to one side, and they live that life with no fuss. They don't go through life waving a banner or holding a placard or have rainbow hair. They just get on with their life. And unfortunately, because you have this motley crew of all sorts together, trans people, real trans people, face a really hard time. So I do not think that Eddie Izzard is brave or pioneering. I think he's extremely selfish. I think he's indulging in his own fantasy of what it is. If Eddie wants to be a woman, then he should transition. And Eddie, the other thing I will say, if Eddie's actually listening, which I guess he could be, is Eddie, you don't actually speak for people like me. You're a transvestite, so I'm sure you don't get offended by JK Rowling saying that trans people are men in dresses, because that is effectively what Eddie is. But for somebody who's gone through a medical transition, it is transphobic. And although I totally believe in free speech, JK should be absolutely allowed to say what she wants. Free speech and freedom of choice does actually work both ways, in the sense that people aren't obliged. If people don't like what they hear, just as much as, I don't like a lot of what I hear about Black Lives Matter. And I tune off or I switch over the TV. Mm-hmm. That's my choice. Yep. That's freedom. That's democracy. So there's no obligation under free speech and freedom of choice for people to actually listen if they find it distasteful. And whether JK Rowling is transphobic or not, that is for trans people to decide. Nobody else.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I think we can all make a decision. I think her standpoint is fairly straightforward.
I'll just say, as an aside there, that there's plenty of people under the trans word at the moment. And this, I vehemently disagree with them. I think they're ludicrous. They're absolutely crackpots. I could talk all day about it. I would be classed as being... Even being trans myself, I would
transphobic.
Currently, as being transphobic, trying to stand my corner against somebody like Eddie Izzard, which is crazy. But that's why it's a dog's breakfast.
Yeah, just let people live their lives. Whatever you want to do, whatever makes you happy, do it. And as long as you're not doing anyone else any harm, just let everyone get on with their lives. Stop turning everything into such a drama. That's what's going on, I think, with the trans.
I've said this before on your show. I think the problem in the trans world is that they need to split. People who medically transition have got to leave LGBT. The word transgender now means nothing to me. I don't identify. It has nothing about it.
No, I get it. I get it. Yeah. Absolutely.
To me, it's a campaign for transvestite rights, for non-binary people who are largely made up of 10 years ago. They would have been emos, the people who sort of borderline on the gender, androgyny and what have you. It's just like a big rebranding exercise that's encompassed everyone. If trans was the drawer in your kitchen, it would be the drawer that's got the hammer, the tape measure, the ball of string and the rubber band.
Yes, exactly.